Hello everyone, this is Affan, and in today's video, we will do a simulation about the manufacturing process in Odoo ERP. So before we begin, there are some things that we need to make sure. First is that we need to activate the following modules. So we need to activate the sales, purchase, inventory, invoicing, and manufacturing modules. And also, we need to import or create the master data that will be involved in the manufacturing process that we will simulate later. And the simulation will cover the 5 main process. The first is creating the bills of material, and then we will be creating route, and then we'll go to creating work center, and then warehouse and location, and then finally creating manufacturing transaction from SOMOWO until material issue. Okay, so in this simulation, the scenario will be that there is this company called Kita Manufacturing Limited, which is a manufacturing company that produces children's toys. So, and it including the low type Lego cars. And this company has set the minimum quantity of low Lego cars manufacturer limited in stock to 20 products. However, currently the product is less than 20. And so it has reached a reorder point or buffer stock and must immediately carry out the production process. And in the production process, it is processed with 3 work centers. Okay, and in this scenario, there will be 5 actors that will take part. First is the administrator, which is the manager, which has an all access administrator. And then there is also sales, which is the sales staff with an administrator access in the sales. And then there's accent accounting, which is the accounting staff, will have the invoicing modules billing administrator access. And then there is Warta warehouse, which is the warehouse staff with inventory administrator access. And finally, there is manufacturer, which is the administrator for the manufacturing. Okay, and okay, so now we will begin the first process. We will start the simulation. The first process is creating the BOM, the bills of materials. So in this process, we will make a comprehensive list of items that is required to manufacture a product. And as you can see in here, to make our final product, the mobile Lego rendah, we will need these components. And to make these components, for example, the body mobile, there's also the BOM, which composed of these components, and so on. And so before we begin creating the bills of materials, there are some certain things that we need to set up. The first is the product category. Make sure we have made. As for me, I have set up three categories, product category. So how do you do that? You can go to the inventory and then go to configuration and then product categories. And in here, you can just create new product categories. So I will show you one of them, which is the raw material. So in this raw material, this is one of the product category that I've made. I've also made the other, which is the work in process and finished goods. So these 3 product category, it represent a certain flow. So all of the products start from the raw materials. You can see the RM here, which is the base component. And then there are the work in process. So those are the products, the items that we make in our production, but it's not a finished good. So we don't sell it directly. For example, there's this frame and body, which later we will process it again and turn it into a finished goods. And that's the 3 product category. So now the next thing we need to do after we have made the product category is to make the products. So I make the products according to this table. And how to do that is just to press the create button in here. And this is one of the products. You can see here, this is a raw material. So we'll put the product category as raw material, put the cost, and then the quantity at hand. Later we can put it. And then you can also put this tick as this one is raw material, so it can be purchased, but it's not something to be sold. So we need to make sure this can be sold is unticked, and so on. And that's for the raw materials. And we need to also do the same for the other products, like the work in process. Make sure to put it as work in process, and work in process is also cannot be sold. So make sure to untick this, and make sure to put it as storable products, because we will need to store these products and then we will use it again in our production process. And then as for the finished goods, we will be able to sort these products. So make sure you tick the can be sold, and then put a sales price as we will sell this, and then put the product category into the finished goods. Okay, so we have finished setting up the products, and now we can go directly to create the bills of materials. So to do that, we need to go to the manufacturing modules. Yep, in here, and then we can go to products and then go to bills of material. And you can just press create button here. And now in this part, we just need to move the information that we have in this table into this page. For example, for this frame, I've made put the name, quantity at hand, and then so this is the quantity that will be purchased per this component. So for example, in this case, then for each one tire and one frame that is manufactured to make this frame, I will purchase one quantity of this frame. And it's like that. So yes, just put the price also. No, there's no price in here, and so on. And then we also need to fill the other materials, like this FG001, the finished goods. Then we will put the components, including the one in the work in process. So everything is one needed to make this product, the reference, and then this we manufacture this product, and so on and so on. Okay, and that's about how to create the bills of materials. We can go into the next process. Okay, now that we have done creating the bills of materials, we will continue the simulation into the next process, which is to create the work centers and setting up the operations. All right, so to create work centers, we need to make sure that we have enabled the work center in configuration. So we need to go to configuration and then settings, and make sure we have ticked this box right here, the work orders, and then work order dependencies. And after we have done ticking this box, now we can start creating the work centers according to the table that we have in the scenario. So we have this table, and we will put that into the work centers. So go to manufacturing and then find work centers. It is under configuration, work centers, and then press the create button. And in here we can just put the code, put the name, and put the capacity, and so on and so on. Create one, I will create the other one. Yep. Setup time is 15, going up time is 10. Okay. Create another one. Time efficiency, capacity, so that cost per hour. 15. Okay. Finally, make sure we have the of the required column. Oh, I missed this one. And yeah. And okay, now we have done creating the work centers. Now we have done creating the work centers. We can start setting up the operations by clicking this configuration and then operations. And then in here, we can just press the create button and make the operations and then link it to this corresponding bills of material and the work center. For example, to make the frame of the wheels, we will make it in the work centers of the corresponding one, of course, and name it with something recognizable, something like this. Okay, and then set up this and so on. One, and create the others. And the last one also. And yep, it's done. Now we have set up the operations. And that's all for the second part. And then we can now continue to the next process, which is, okay, now that we have finished setting up the work centers and the operations, we can continue to the next process, which is to set up the warehouses and location. So to do that, first, we need to go to inventory and then go to settings, because we need to make sure that under the warehouse section, we have ticked the storage location and multi-step routes box. And after that, we can begin. And in this scenario, the warehouse will be a place to store items and for manufacturing to be happening. And so in this scenario, it says that we will be making 3 warehouses. And the first warehouse is just to receive and store the raw materials. And it will also send to the next warehouse, which is the work in process warehouse, which in here, it will be where all of the manufacturing is happening. So the previous work in, what this call it, the previous work centers will be happening in this warehouse. And then it will also store the work in process items in here. And then as for the finished goods, it will be sent to the next warehouse, which will only store the finished goods and deliver it to the customers. Okay, so we will set up this warehouse. So we will go to the inventory app and then go to configuration and then go to warehouse. And in here, I have already created the 3 warehouses. So let's look into it. The first is the incoming raw materials. As we will be receiving the goods in this warehouse, and then we will keep in stock. So the shipment, I'll choose the number 2, and then it will also send goods in output first and then deliver. So this is all about the location. So in this scenario, then we'll do a 2 steps. So first they put the goods in the input when receiving, and then move it to the stock later on. And then also, as this is the raw materials, we don't manufacture this, so I am taking the buy to resupply box. Okay, so that's for the first warehouse. Then the second warehouse is the work in progress or work in process. Okay, so in this warehouse, it's where we receive the goods, and then we also manufacture it, and then we also store the products and then send it to the next warehouse, the finished goods. And so in this scenario, we will be using the 2 steps location. So send goods in output and then deliver, and then on receiving, we will receive goods in input and then stock. And as for the resupply, as the manufacturing is happening here, so we will take the manufacture to resupply button. And then in this scenario, I'll pick the third option. Okay, because we pick components, manufacture, and then we also store the products in here. All right, and after we have made these 3 warehouses, we can see the locations in more details by seeing the configuration and the locations. And in here you will see we can see, for example, let's start with IRM. So before we are using the 2 steps, so during the receiving, it will first be put in input and then to stock. And then on the delivering, when they want to send it to the next warehouse, it will also stop by the output first and then go. And so there is this location. And then also for the finished goods, there is also stock, and then work in process. Oh, sorry. First is work in process. We have the input first when we receive the products, and then there is a pre- post production because the manufacture is happening here, and then there's the stock for the goods, the work in process goods that are done. And as for the finished goods that has been manufactured, that will be put to output and then delivered to the finished goods warehouse. Also, if you wanted to make more detailed locations, which is not in our scenario here, you can also press the create button here and then put the name of location and then the parent of the physical location. For example, maybe it's under the work in process, for example. So let's say the parent is the VIP, then you can say whatever it is it a written location or is it a replaced location, and so on and so on. So we can also create our own location, customized, but based on the previous checkbox that we made on the warehouses. And now that we have created the warehouses and also the location, we can start creating our routes. And to do that, you can go to inventory and then configuration and then press routes, and will be created by this page where then you can press the create button in here. As for me, I have done creating the route that I need, which is this one. So we will take a look at it. And in this route, which is I'm applying our scenario, I have 4 main rules. So 4 main steps. The first is I put buy, because in our scenario, we are starting this by buying our raw materials from our vendors and put it into our warehouse. So I choose action buy and put it in the incoming raw materials warehouse, the input. And then another one is that we need to do an internal transfer because after in the raw materials, we will need to move it again to the we call it the WIP warehouse, which there then we will do the manufacturing process. So I do an internal transfer here, and then the manufacturing begun. So there's two types. First is the manufacturing of WIP items. So this is not a finished goods, so it will not be sold immediately. So for this goods, we will just put these items in the stock, so in the WIP stock. So this is the destination. And as for the manufactured goods that is a finished goods, then we will just put the destination location as the FG warehouse slash stock. Okay. And maybe notice that there might be some in between process that is missing. For example, like from IRM input to stock. But when you make the report just like this, it will fill it by itself. So I will show you. So to see that, we can go to products, choose our products here, and then go to inventory, and then choose our routes under operation, choose our routes that we have made before, and then view diagram, and go put our warehouses. So like this, and see overview. And here we can see the overview of our routes. It started from buying from vendors, you see, and then there is internal transfer from input to stock. And I said that they will fill it in. And then the internal transfer that we made ourselves. And then you see the manufacturing to stock, and the manufacturing to finished goods, and another internal transfer from input to stock, and so on and so on. And finally, from finished goods, we also have a delivery orders to our customers. Okay, and so that's how we make a route in Odoo. And now we can begin the next process. Okay, now that we have finished the previous process, we have made the POM, the work centers and operation, the warehouse and location, the route. Now we can finally do the manufacturing transaction simulation, which we will start from the sales order, and then to manufacturing order, and then to WO, and then to material issue. And in here, we will start using the other users. So I'll start with the sales. So we are in the sales account already. We are making the sales order. So we go to the sales module and create new quotation. Let's say there's a customer. Oh, we haven't made the other company, so I will just make a new company, I think, in the context. Let's say Lumber Inc. So just put it that way, and then it will be our customer. And then we can add the products that we have in our simulation, which is the Bumbu Gorenda. And right now, in our inventory, we have 19. But in the scenario, we need to have 20. So in the quotation, let's say the customer wants to buy 20 of this product. So we will confirm this quotation and turn it into a sales order. So now the sales order has been created. we can go to the next one. Now that we have logged into our manufacturing personnel, we can check if we need to manufacture another goods by pressing inventory, and then you will see the delivery orders. There's waiting and late. Still waiting, and then we can see that this is the sales order that we have made just now. And in here you can see that in operations the demand is 20 items, while we only have 19, so we need to make one more this. And yep, so in this case we need to manufacture one more goods. So what we can do is to create a new manufacturing order of that product. Will be like Renda, and then press confirm. So this VIP is confirmed now. As you can see here, the materials is also not available. So we need to make sure that the stocks of the raw materials is being replenished. So in this case, we will ask our purchasing department to buy a new one, or we can just ask the admin in this scenario, because I don't have the purchasing department here. So we'll purchase another goods. So we create this one again, the materials, and then we confirm order, set the product. Okay. Validate. And done. Now we have bought the raw materials. You can see in products, we have the goods in hand. Okay. Now we'll log in again with our manufacturing employee and start the manufacturing process. Okay. So the frame and the body is not there, so we will need to create a new one of the frame and confirm, and also create another one for the body, confirm, and yep, as you can see here, one thing is the first one, our final product, finished goods, cannot be made before these two are ready, which is a work in progress item. So we need to finish that first. We finish that here. Plan. Progress done. We put the consume there. Progress done. Quantity purchase must be positive. Okay, and then we can start the work orders. Start. And now the status is in progress. But to make it faster, we will just press the done button. And now it's finished. And so you can check again. And here, that see the product. So it was the frame done. This one. So it should have the products. No, not yet. So we need to check again. This one. Oh, it's almost closing. So thing transferring. So previously what's done is just the work order in the work center, but the process as a whole hasn't finished. So we need to mark this as done to close the process. And we can check the availability. See, now we have the product at hand. Okay, we will do the same with the other products. So it's with this one. Plan, consume. Start the work order. And skip that. Finish. Work is done. And there you go. Now both products are ready. So see, now we have the components. Okay, except for the cabin. Did I forget to buy it? Okay. Now we have it in hand. So we will just do it anyway. That's 1111 plan. Work order start and skip. Work has done. And yep. Okay. Now we have our product here, 20 units. Okay, now that from the manufacturing side, it's already done. We can go through our warehousing person to send the goods as it is ready. We go to the warehouse, inventory, and to process. What is this? EO2. Oh, this was from the previous purchasing of the materials. And this one is from the sales order rebate report. Okay, check availability again. As we have new stock. So just put our latest stock here, 20. As you can see here. Oh, yep, 20 units. And so we can start to validate. And yep, that's done. So now the materials is being sent out. Okay. So that we have done sending the products, it's time to send a quotation. So we will see the previous sales order again and create an invoice. I'm sorry, I mean an invoice and create invoice. And now that we have finished sending the invoice to our customer, that means this process has done, the simulation has done, and that was a short brief of our simulation, which start from the sales order to the manufacturing and then to the warehousing and the material issue. And hope this simulation will be helpful to you, and see you in the next video.